To Kill a Mockingbird is more than a film. It is a moral touchstone, a piece of America's soul captured on celluloid. The faces in that film are etched into our collective memory. Gregory Peck's steadfast Atticus, Mary Badham's fierce Scout, Brock Peters' devastating Tom Robinson. They brought for millions. The actors and the characters became one. But here is the haunting truth. These iconic images never revealed, and the cost of integrity left its own indelible weight on the lives of those who made it. The applause faded. The Oscars were shelved. And the men, women, and children who gave us the house. For over 60 years, their real stories. Join us as we step beyond the frame, past the credits. The role was not just offered, it was destined. When Gregory Peck read Harper Lee's novel, he saw in Atticus Finch a reflection of his own highest ideals. Born in 1916, Peck's own childhood was a stark contrast to the Finch family's steady warmth. His parents' divorce when he was 6 sent him ricocheting between relatives, a lonely experience that bred in him a deep yearning for the very stability he would later project on screen. When he stepped onto the set in 1961, he wasn't just playing a part, he was building a sanctuary. He absorbed Atticus's mannerisms, the gentle removal of his glasses, the measured pace of his speech, until the line between man and character blurred not just for the audience, but for Peck himself. The performance was a masterpiece of quiet conviction, earning him his long-awaited Academy Award. Atticus Finch was immediately canonized, voted the greatest hero in American film by the American Film Institute. He became, for a nation grappling with the civil rights movement, a North Star of moral clarity. But that celestial status became a gilded cage. For Gregory Peck, a serious and ambitious actor, the blessing was also a curse. He was suddenly no longer just an actor, he was an icon of goodness. The industry struggled to see past. He longed for the complex, flawed characters, the kind his friend and rival Marlon Brando reveled in. He coveted roles like Patton, which went to George C. Scott, or darker, more ambiguous parts. But the specter of Atticus loomed. Producers wanted Gregory Peck, the moral authority. His attempts at versatility, like playing the evil Nazi doctor in The Boys from Brazil, were often met with public confusion. Why is Atticus being a monster? The audience seemed to whisper. The pressure to embody this ideal in his personal life was immense. He was expected to be a pillar in his community, a perfect father, an unwavering liberal voice. And while he largely was, the strain was relentless. His first marriage crumbled under the pressures of fame and absence. Then, in 1975, his world was shattered when his 30-year-old son, Jonathan, took his own life. The tragedy was a private, profound agony that the public image of Gregory Peck, America's father, could not encompass or soothe. Friends said a part of him closed off forever, a vulnerability hidden behind the same dignified stoicism he used as Atticus. In his later years, his activism in progressive causes, he marched with Cesar Chavez, protested the Vietnam War, campaigned for nuclear disarmament, felt like a conscious, perhaps desperate, effort to align the man with the myth. He was trying to earn the goodness people had already bestowed upon him. When he passed away in 2003 at 87, the headlines were universal. Atticus Finch dies. His $50 million fortune was a testament to a legendary career. But his personal writings and the reflections of his children revealed a man haunted by the gap between the saint he played and the human he was. A loving but sometimes distant father, a loyal but occasionally failing friend, a good man who knew he was not a perfect one. He gave the world a fictional hero of unimpeachable integrity, and spent 40 years in the quiet, exhausting service of that hero's memory. She was not an actress. She was a little girl from Birmingham, Alabama, with a stubborn streak and a deep Southern accent. When 9-year-old Mary Badham was cast as Scout, she was chosen for her raw, unpolished authenticity. She didn't act. Like a curious, tough kid, she was. Her chemistry with Peck was instant and profound. He became a surrogate father on and off set, a relationship that lasted until his death. Overnight, her life became a surreal whirlwind. She was nominated for an Academy Award, the youngest at that time to be nominated for Best Supporting Actress. She walked red carpets, was interviewed by serious journalists, and was asked to pontificate on racism and justice. Concept she was only beginning to grasp from the safe, progressive bubble of the film set. Scout Finch. Offers were sparse and uninspired. By her mid-teens, disillusioned and craving normalcy, she left acting. If Mary Badham was reluctantly famous, Philip Alford was actively uninterested. Cast as Jem at 13, he was another non-actor found for his genuine Southern demeanor. He performed his role with a touching, boyish sincerity. Jem's shattered idealism after the trial is a quiet heartbreak in the film. But for Philip, acting was a summer job, not a call. When the fanfare ended, he returned to Alabama, and after a few half-hearted attempts at more roles, including a part in Shenandoah, he left the business for good as a teenager. He didn't attend premieres or give interviews. He simply went home. He finished school, served in the National Guard, and built a career in the industrial and construction sectors. He married, raised a family, and lived a resolutely anonymous life. For years, he was the missing cast member. He avoided conventions and refused almost all requests to discuss the film. When he did rarely appear, it was with an air of bemusement, a man slightly baffled by the enduring fuss over something he did as a kid. This wasn't bitterness, but a profound and healthy separation. He understood that Jem Finch was a character, not an identity. His quiet resistance to nostalgia is, in its own way, a powerful statement. In an era where every child star's trauma is catalogued, Philip Alford represents a different path, complete and utter exit. He rejected the narrative before it could reject. Now 77, his net worth comes from a lifetime of blue-collar work and prudent living. He is perhaps the only one from the film who escaped entirely unscathed, because he alone refused to accept the label of star in the first place. He played a boy who lost his innocence, and then wisely walked away before Hollywood could claim his. The courtroom scene is the film's agonizing center, and at its heart is Brock Peters as Tom Robinson, delivering a performance of such vulnerable dignity that it steals the breath, his voice breaking as he explains why he helped Myella Ewell. I felt right sorry for her. She seemed to try mourn the rest of them, is a line that flips the world's prejudice on its head. It was acting of the highest order, but for Brock Peters, the injustice was not abstract. Born in 1927, he built his career navigating the rigid, humiliating limitations placed on black actors. He was a classically trained performer with a booming Shakespearean voice. Yet he was consistently offered parts as slaves, criminals, or servants. Tom Robinson was a rare opportunity to portray a full, complex human being, and he seized it with every fiber of his being. The cruel irony was that the film's success did little to change his own professional landscape. He was praised, but not promoted. He continued to face the same typecasting, the same closed doors. The industry that celebrated a story about racial equality remained stubbornly unequal. His frustration was a slow, burning constant. Alongside this, he carried great personal responsibility, caring for his ailing wife for many years. He found some solace and late career recognition in the Star Trek universe, playing Admiral Cartwright, a role of authority that felt like a small vindication. But when he died of pancreatic cancer in 2005, his obituaries, while respectful, underscored how the mainstream had underused him. His net worth was a fraction of his white co-star. Brock Peters channeled the fear, the hope, and the crushing defeat of generations into Tom Robinson. He gave a voice to the voiceless, while spending a career fighting to be heard himself. His legacy is one of monumental talent constrained by a world that was not yet ready to see a black man as anything more than the victim he so powerfully portrayed. In a film filled with memorable faces, one of the most unforgettable appears for less than 5 minutes, without a single line of dialogue. Robert Duvall's Boo Radley is a masterpiece of subtlety. He doesn't speak, he had habits. The way he hesitantly touches Jem's bed frame, the protective way he stands in the corner after saving the children. It's a performance built in whispers. For Duvall, it was a beginning born from years of struggle. He was a starving New York actor when he was cast. The role was tiny, but it was in a major studio film. It was his foot in the door, yet the door didn't swing open easily. The big break myth is just that. For the next decade, Duvall scraped by with TV guest spots and minor film roles. His weathered, distinctive face was remembered, but his name was not. His ascent was slow, hard, and earned through sheer, undeniable force of talent in films like The Godfather and Network. By the time he won his Oscar for Tender Mercies. In '93, he was 52. He had spent his youth and middle age in the trenches, a journey that forged his legendary, no-nonsense approach to his craft and his famous distrust of Hollywood phoniness. His personal life mirrored this uneven path, with 3 failed marriages before finding lasting stability. Now 94, Duvall's $70 million net worth and legendary status are the rewards of a stubborn, decades-long climb. His story is the antithesis of overnight success. He began as a silent specter in the shadows of To Kill a Mockingbird, and through sheer persistence and peerless skill, stepped into the light as one of American cinema's most respected giants. Boo Radley was the ghost in the house. Duvall proved he was the founder. To make Tom Robinson's tragedy resonate, the audience must believe in the palpable, pitiable desperation of his accuser. Colin Wilcox, a 27-year-old stage actress from the Actors Studio, made Myella Ewell tragically, hatefully real. Her performance is a nervous breakdown on screen, a mixture of fear, shame, and venomous survival instinct. The consequence of such effective villainy is that audiences conflate the actor with the role. Colin experienced this backlash directly. She spoke of people recognizing her and staring with open contempt, as if she, not Myella, had committed the crime. This psychic burden is a unique tax on actors who play despicable characters well. Her career never gained major momentum post Mockingbird. She worked steadily in television, often playing nervous or troubled women, but stardom eluded her. Privately, she battled alcoholism, a struggle that lasted for years and was intertwined with the frustrations of her career and the weight of her most famous. Achieving sobriety was a hard-won victory. Her death from brain cancer in 2009 at 74 went relatively unnoticed by the wider world. Her financial legacy was modest. Colin Wilcox gave us a character whose lie destroys an innocent man, and in a small, cruel twist of fate, the brilliance of that performance somewhat obscured the talented, complex woman who brought it to life. She was forever haunted by the echo of a false accusation she only pretended to make. If Myella is pitiable, her father, Bob Ewell, is pure, venomous evil. James Anderson made him a sniveling, dangerous bigot you could almost smell through the screen. A character actor with a face made for malice, Anderson specialized in playing brutish antagonists. Bob Ewell was his magnum opus. The role cemented him as Hollywood's go-to villain, a typecasting that guaranteed work but limited any chance for diversity or greater recognition. He was the man you loved to hate, but off-screen, by all accounts, he was quiet and reserved, a professional doing a job. The confinement of such typecasting likely limited his earnings and his artistic satisfaction. His death from a heart attack in 1969, at just 48, meant he barely outlived the film's first wave of fame. He left behind a resume filled with heavy and henchman roles, his name largely forgotten while his snarling, hate-filled performance as Yule remains eternally memorable. He embodied the film's darkness so completely that the light never found him. As Dill, the imaginative, precocious friend based on Truman Capote, John Megna was all wide-eyed wonder and charming bravado. It's a delightful, scene-stealing performance from a 9-year-old. But the path for a child actor who isn't the lead is often the hardest. He was not Scout or Gem. He was the quirky friend, and Hollywood had even less use for him as he aged. John faced the classic transition problem. He took on a few more roles, but soon found his opportunities drying up. Rather than chase a fading dream, he turned to education and directing, finding fulfillment behind the camera and in teaching theater. He lived a quiet, creative life in Los Angeles. He was also a gay man in an industry, and an era where that could be a career-ending truth. His private life remained just that, private. His death in 1995 at the tragically young age of 42 from complications due to AIDS was a quiet footnote. For many fans, Dill simply vanished, frozen forever as the small boy in glasses spinning tales on a porch. John Megna's story is one of early brilliance, followed by a dignified retreat from the spotlight and a life cut short before he could show the world the artist he had matured into. Every moral universe needs its benchmarks of decency. 4. Mockingbird. They were Miss Maudie and Calpurnia. Rosemary Murphy's Maudie Atkinson is the film's warm, steady heartbeat. A veteran stage actress, Murphy brought a wry, grounded wisdom to the role. Her own life, having witnessed the rise of Nazism as a child in Germany, informed her understanding of quiet courage in the face of societal poison. She enjoyed a long, respected career on stage and screen, winning a Tony, but like many character actresses, she faced the professional invisibility that comes with age. Her death in 2014 marked the passing of a graceful, understated talent who provided the film with much of its essential warmth. Estelle Evans, as Calpurnia, delivered something revolutionary. A black domestic worker with authority, intelligence, and unshakable moral stature. She was not a backdrop, she was a pillar of the Finch household. Yet, for Evans, a Bahamian American actress, this groundbreaking role did not shatter the ceilings of Hollywood. She continued to play maids and matriarchs, like her sister Esther role later would on Good Times, navigating an industry that praised her performance while offering her more of the same. Her death in 1985 was not a major media event, but her contribution was seismic. She presented a dignified, fully realized black woman on screen to a mainstream white audience, helping to pave the way for future generations. She played the moral anchor of a white family on screen, while in life, she anchored an extended family of black performers breaking barriers one small, hard-won role at a time. But let us also spare a thought for the architects of this enduring monument. For them, the film was not an ending, but a beginning of a lifelong relationship with a shadow. For Gregory Peck, it was the shadow of a saint he could never quite become. For Mary Badham and Philip Alford, it was the shadow of their own childhoods, forever preserved and paraded. For Brock Peters and Estelle Evans, it was the shadow of the very inequalities the film decried, limitations they continued to face, For Colin Wilcox and James Anderson, it was the shadow of hatred they so convincingly. For Robert Duvall and John Megna, it was the shadow of obscurity they had to fight to escape or accept. They took on the weight of Harper Lee's truth, and for some, that weight never lifted. They gave us a timeless lesson in empathy, and in return, asked for none, as they navigated the complexities of their own lives in the glare of that film's immortal light. So the next time you watch, and you feel that familiar swell of admiration for Atticus, or that ache for Tom and Scout, look beyond the characters. See the people. See the young girl who sacrificed her anonymity, the black man who channeled generations of pain, the veteran actor yearning to be more than a hero. Their performances are gifts that continue to teach us. And their real stories of triumph, struggle, and silent cost are a sobering human reminder that even the most luminous art is made by fragile, brilliant, complicated hands. Which of these journeys speaks to you? Which hidden cost moves you most? The comments are yours. And if you believe the true story is always found in the space between the spotlight and the shadow, make sure to subscribe. We go beyond the credits to where the real drama always lives.